what I summarized permission as I went to describe what it is I'm going to talk about today. The teaser copy for today's talk said, everyone needs permission to find their own path. Some of us seek permission outside of ourselves, only to realize that the catalyst to make a transformational pivot must come from within. And that this talk is about the magic that is revealed by slowing down and listening to our inner voice. I've recognized a pattern, a thread that is consistently woven in all of my talks. And it's this presence that I feel here today too. And it takes me back to my childhood. The curious minds of children. Can you remember a time before the path of right and wrong were delineated for you? When you were free to have a sense of awe and wonder and explore the world, just to see what kind of impact it would have on you. Children follow their instincts. They use their senses to guide them. In this way, every move that they make satisfies their own curiosity. As littles, we give ourselves permission to explore the desires within our heart. And then what happens? Guardrails. Guardrails happen. Just like the game of bowling, bumpers are placed on the side of the lanes so that there is a knowable path that our ball will follow. In this way, it's the comfort zone of our elders that decide how far we can go, how much we can have, and how we are to behave. As littles, we are constantly in a state of exploration and correction. This morning, my partner had a quote come through his social feed, and it was written in 1955 by Rachel Carson in a book called The Sense of Wonder. And it perfectly speaks to this point that I had to reprint my talk to include this quote. And it goes, if a child is to keep alive his inborn sense of wonder, he needs the companionship of at least one adult who can share it. Rediscovering with him the joy, excitement, and mystery of the world we live in. So knowing what I know about life, I try to imagine it a different way. How can a child be raised to honor the quest of discovery, magic, and wonder, to push boundaries without being fearful of the risk that they're taking? Is it even possible? And what I got to was that it's a question of love. It's about the love that a parent has for their child to keep them safe. It all comes down to love. Love dominates a new parent's capacity to stay in wonder with their child. A parent's love for their dependent is so complete and intense that fear of harm has us favor the predictable instead of the unpredictable. Containment overexpansion. So if in the training ground for one's exposure to trying new things is filled with love and harm reduction, then it's quite likely that these individuals will grow up looking for approval and guidance from those around them before they try new things. So as I consider the origin for how many of us became a collective adults who seek permission outside of ourselves, I notice compassion flooding into my system. Because what I'm seeing as a reason for these guardrails is the simple fact of love being present. Sweet love, holy love, blessed love. The kind of love that makes it impossible to imagine a world without you. So I'm going to hold on tight and course correct you as often as necessary to keep you safe. The job of a parent is complex. I've lived my 53 years without ever being pregnant. I don't know what it's like to create life inside my body. To look at a breathing baby and see the extension of my DNA. I think if I had, I'd have even more grace for my own mother and father. The more we see ourselves for our similarities instead of our differences, the closer we become as family, as communities, as a nation, as a people, citizens of Earth. As I reflected on my path in life, I left home in my 20s to find my differences somewhere else, to embrace them, to love them, to define the edges of my own comfort zone and see what it was like when I stepped my foot a little bit to the left, a little bit back, a little bit to the right. What's over there? What's the impact of stretching my comfort zone? Who could I become if I was willing to take some risks? And I returned home 30 years later to find my similarities and to love them. The catalyst for me to stretch my wings, leave home, and start a life for myself elsewhere was based on a longing to know myself better. To see the impact of my own choices without guardrails, and to give myself a permission slip to follow the path of my own beating heart. And while I can't regret my choices in this, to have left and gone away, because it led me back to myself. It did come at a cost of family disconnection through my 30s and my 40s. But the gift of what gets to happen now is living a fully integrated life. Not only do I get to deepen my awareness of what brings me joy and celebrate it, but I also get to share that with those around me. And what I'm sharing is my joy for celebrating a life lived on my own terms. And by doing so, I become the permission slip for other people to do the same. The process of self-actualization begins and ends with turning your attention inward. Emmett Fox's teachings on the Golden Key, he suggests that in order to solve any trouble, regardless of subject matter, simply turn your attention away from the problem that's out there and turn your attention towards God. Turn your attention towards the magnificence of God. And if, as some of my other spiritual teachers have suggested, that God is in us, as we said in the responsive reading that Anne shared with us, all that is God, I am. All that God is, I am. And so we are all made of the same star stuff of the universe. That in tuning into God, this can be seen as an invitation to turn into ourselves. For this to be possible, there must be space for contemplation, quiet, and stillness. There isn't a spiritual teacher, past or present, who doesn't talk about the importance of cultivating a relationship with nature. Why do you think that is? Why is nature so essential to finding peace within ourselves? I think it's because it existed before us. It'll be here after us. And it has something to teach us. As we spend time in nature and we marvel at the generations that have come before us, and we stand in the magnificence of great trees, and we breathe in the air, and we slow down, like in the meditation. And we notice and we become aware of the air entering our body and following its path, making the unconscious conscious. We tune in to more that is within. We tune into our sensations. It's a luxury, I admit, to pause the pace of life, of all of the responsibilities. I recognize the luxury of pausing to notice what we can notice. But the more we tune our attention and set an intention, we prioritize the landscape of our inner world, and the conflicts in our outer world become less consuming. And I think that's what Emmett Fox's teachings of the Golden Key is all about. Focus, the definition of focus, to become the center of interest or activity. It requires a concentration. And we can't concentrate on two things at once. So if we're concentrating on the magnificence of our inner world, of the God stuff inside of ourselves, then the trouble's out there. Can't be our worry or our concern. As you tune into self, you're guided by a higher power, an infinite source. The universe wants to receive your uploads. The universe wants you to live a life full of joy and contentment. It is, in fact, up to you to decide. You get to be joyful. You get to approach life through the lens of self-satisfaction. There's no points in heaven for martyrdom. Self-sacrifice is a false narrative designed to keep you obedient to the power systems that benefit from your loyalty. And what about loyalty to self? That's where the magic of self-love lives. That's how we expand our capacity to love more of our brothers and sisters, to see the similarities of all humans. Change your thinking, change your life. The principles we teach here as a new thought ministry. The truth is, you're here on this planet to experience all of the joy and bliss that you can dream of. It's all here for you. You just need to give yourself permission to want what you want. To believe that you can have it. The more you radiate your bliss out into the world, this has a significant ripple. And it's felt by everyone around you. And they want more of what you have. That is how we can change our world. The permission that I needed to find wasn't from a guardian or a teacher or a leader or an elder. It was from myself. My path is not the same as your path. Which is why I can't tell you how to get there. And the truth is, no one can. You must find it for yourself. The gift we can offer each other is the reminder that you get to give yourself permission. You get to have what you want. And the key, the golden key, is deciding that you are worthy. We decide that we are worthy when we stop believing our inner critic. And we pivot to the narrative of self-love. There, little one. I know that life hasn't always given you what you needed or what you wanted. I see the ways in which you may have been overlooked. But that's not present now. What's present now is my comfort and my ability to love you exactly as you are. You are whole. You are complete. And you are loved. This we can offer ourselves. We can offer this to ourselves at any moment of any day. I am here for you now. So as I said at the beginning, everyone needs permission to find their own path. Be that beacon for others, and together we can up-level the vibration of those around us. And by doing so, up-level the vibration of the world.